guys, Brandon Smalley here from thirstgym.com. Today we're talking about an exercise called the Sumo Rack Pull versus chains. All right, for this exercise, you're gonna want a barbell and a rack with a rod and pipe based system or a safety catch based system. And you're gonna wanna have these set in an area where you're not strong in your deadlift. Ideally, that's probably gonna be somewhere below your knee to about mid shin, somewhere in there. This rack and this demonstration I'm showing you today is a little bit high for me, but it's just gonna get my point across. The other thing you're gonna want are chains. So I've got the chains draped across the barbell like I was doing a floor press. I've got nice heavy chains here. I just hang them over the barbell so that they're on the ground and on the barbell. This works well because I'm a shorter athlete, so the range of motion is still gonna make sure that the chains are still on the floor. But if you're a taller athlete, I really like these easy loaders from Elite FTS. They're for deadlifts only, but what you do is you just take them, place them around the bar. Here you would hook your chains and then your chains would hang. Now for me, there's not really any chain technically on the barbell when I do this. It's hanging too low and I'm not getting a whole lot of chain movement, so I would need a ton of chain to really be able to feel the difference. Whereas if I drape it on the bar like this, I can actually feel the difference as I continue to load more chains. So take your height into consideration. It doesn't have to be these easy loaders either. These are just really super convenient and work well. Any loading based system or feeder chains or leader chains work great for this. So that's just one thing you'll need from a setup perspective. But outside of that, then you're just gonna get in your normal sumo stance. It is gonna feel a little bit weird because you're not gonna be able to track your feet where you normally would if you use the power rings or the smooth to base where you're putting your feet. It's a little bit harder because the bar is elevated to some extent. So just make sure you're comfortable with where your stance is. But outside of that, we're gonna do our regular sumo deadlift. Knees are gonna track out, arms are gonna stay long. I'm gonna wedge into position, pull, complete stop. One more. And so notice I'm trying to drive my hips forward and meet the barbell at the top. Again, this is a little high for me. It's definitely working the top half range of motion. Not exactly great. I would not suggest to do this unless you're genuinely having issues at the top, but more than likely you're having issues transitioning around your knee, which is why I like that mid shin to bottom of the kneecap area to teach you how to drive your hips forward. That works well because most athletes are having issues getting the bar around their knee and having their butt come towards the barbell. Because as the bar's here, that's the furthest distance the bar is going to be away from our hips at any given point during the exercise. So working on that transition, having to meet the barbell with our glutes and our hips is very crucial. That's why this exercise works great for improving your lockout strength. Again, set these pins ideally where you need them, right around where you're having issues or even slightly below so you can work on driving through them. Again, as we have the chains on here, as I stand up, more chains are coming off the ground, which means I'm feeling those chains. So you're gonna want around 20-25% chain weight of your best deadlift to actually make that a nice smooth transition. So that's gonna be beneficial for your lockout. In terms of your programming, this is probably going to be one of your main exercises for the day, especially if you run conjugate-based programming. You would probably pull this for a heavy single or double, and that's going to really force you to think about mentally how you're in position, but also getting around that knee and focusing on your lockout. It probably will not be as strong as your deadlift off the floor, believe it or not, because if you're having issues in that spot, creating force, especially maximum amount of force to get that bar moving off those pins into position can be very difficult. The other thing I'll say is you can do it as a supplemental based exercise for sets of like 2 to 3, maybe 5 at the absolute most, and you can do multiple sets, 3, 4, 5, 6 sets of 1, 2, 3 reps, really focusing on your position each time, really focusing on driving up as hard as you can. Just make sure between each rep you're letting the barbell come to a complete stop on the pins so you continue to work on that rate of force development, because if you're bouncing off the pins, you're kind of defeating the purpose of the exercise. So if you happen to have any questions about the setup or implementation of this exercise, just let me know in the comment section below. Thanks, have a great day.